What's going on, folks? What's going on, folks? Happy Thursday to you. I appreciate you joining me. Welcome to Pro Fan Talk. My name is Marcus Thomas. Thank you for joining me this Thursday. I didn't have a countdown today, did I? I totally skipped that. That's all right. We'll keep it moving. We will keep it moving. Happy Thursday to you, man. Thanks for joining me. What do I normally say when I get on the mic? The NFL is the gift that keeps on giving. However, comma, the NFL was usurped by our Philadelphia 76ers. And in honor of our exodus from the playoffs, you will notice that my background is an empty court because the Sixers, let me be specific, because Joel Embiid and James Harden didn't bother to show up. So my court is empty. No logo in the center, nobody in the stands. It's just barren. Because of that god-awful performance. I couldn't, man, not too many times being through some of the things I've been through. I learned how to lose at a very early age. My first year of football, I was 10 years old. We didn't win a game. We were like 6. We were 1-6. We were 0-5-1. 0-5-1. We tied one game. So I was very accustomed to losing early on. But you learn lessons when you lose. There are lessons in losing. However, when you lose because your effort was not good enough, you ever want a coach to get on your behind? You give lackadaisical effort, or you give bad effort in a losing game. You know, we say big eye in the sky don't lie, right? One of the worst things you can do if you're losing the game is quit. So that means if you lose in the game, you still gonna watch film of the game. You still got to show up the next day, run that tape, and see what's what. And the worst thing you can do is show off that defeated body language when the whole team can see what you're doing. Those are the plays that matter when you're away from the ball. That's what scouts used to tell me. What do you do when you're away from the ball, when you're not getting the ball, when you carry out a fake, things like that? Anthony, what's going on, brother? I see you. I see my mom in there. I see Sean in there. I appreciate y'all for joining me early. But yeah, what do you do away from the ball? You already losing. You already got that attitude. Now you got some people that'll put it down till the last whistle blows. Till that clock says, all zeros. They will go hard until the game is over. And you get some people that they know what the situation is, and their body language shows it, like I said, and they just let it go. And that's what it looks like, or that's what it looked like with the 76ers the other day at that game 7. That was god-awful. That was hot garbage. That was ass sauce. Whatever you want to call it. Whatever you want to call it. It was just ridiculous. Embiid to the Pelicans. He going to play with Zion? He ain't that bad. That was just a game. Zion we can't even, I'm not even going to put that comparison in, but I understand. So if anybody got anything bad to say about the 76ers, like a lot of times, I don't go that bad with it, but I understand. Like I said, I understand. Feel like the Sixers are screwed no matter what they do. I don't necessarily disagree. Well, no, let me correct that. I do disagree from this standpoint. As long as they have Embiid and Maxey, we got a shot to do some things because you can get some complementary pieces. And you got to get some people that can play, and you got to get some people that know their game and know where they are, I guess, in their career. And I'm saying that given my virtual eyeball to James Harden. James Harden was up, down, this, that, and the other. And I understand the business. So as the head coach, when Doc Rivers gets fired, I know he's getting fired because he's been in the same exact situation for the past 3 years and has not advanced. So even though, in my opinion, I don't necessarily think he should have gotten fired, but I understand. So what can you do? Doc Rivers is not on the court. Check out some of the videos I put up on my YouTube channel, Pro Fan Talk, talking about Doc. Doc Rivers didn't take one jump shot. Now, you could argue some of his strategy and some of his chess moves on the court might leave a little bit to be desired. However, that's the same Doc that was coaching when Embiid put up 50. That's the same Doc that was coaching when they get out of that first round and they was like, yeah, this is what we talking about. That's the same Doc that was coaching when Harden put up 41. Same Doc. So what happened? The only thing that was different was the shots weren't falling. Harden couldn't find a stroke in that game 7 to save his life. Joel Embiid, I don't know what the hell Embiid was doing sometimes. I'm old school, right? I'm old school. So back in the day, if your shot wasn't working, if you couldn't hit them outside shots from 15 to 25 feet away, if your guards and your forwards were not hitting those shots, you got the ball down low to your big man, and they banged the boards. They put the team in the penalty, you got on the free throw line. That's how you got your points if things weren't working out on the perimeter. Now, again, I repeat, I am not a basketball aficionado. I watch basketball, but I do not follow basketball. Big difference. I'm not watching tape and breaking down games like I do during the NFL seasons. I watch it for the entertainment of it. I like to see Joel Embiid. He was the MVP. See what Harden can do. I like Maxey and Steph Curry and everybody, and I want to see LeBron and all of that kind of stuff. So I'm looking at it from strictly a fan perspective, not even a rabid fan. Not even one of those guys that could tell you every starting five on every team, and I'm not the one. You ask me anybody, I probably couldn't even name the Sixers starting five other than Harden, Maxey, and Embiid. PJ Tucker and Tobias Harris. Okay, not bad. But you get what I'm saying. You got these guys out there that can name you every player on every team in the league. I'm not the one because I just don't follow basketball. As much as I'm into football, hell, I could barely do that in football without notes. So I'm on the outside looking in. But I will say this, as a coach, as someone who has coached kids and watched enough sports, I understand what bad play is. I understand when I see things that don't make sense. And when your team shooting percentage is not very good and you continue to pop them shots and they're not falling, the obvious thing to do is get it to your 7-footer on the blocks and let him dunk on everybody that's breathing. That's what I don't understand. You eventually going to kick it to the outside because you're going to want to take the lead. You want to tie it with a 3. Whatever the situation is, you're going to have those opportunities. But when you're struggling for shots to fall, when your 2 best players go 8 for 29, when PJ Tucker and Tobias Harris are saving your ass for the first half of the game, you got to do something better. You got to be able to figure it out. That's not something that a coach should tell you to do. If you're the league MVP, you put your ass down on that block and you tell everybody, when I'm on the blocks, you give me the ball. Maybe Joel Embiid is not matured like that yet. Embiid is in his prime right now. He's got about another 2 years if he stays healthy. Tyrese Maxey is not in his prime yet. So you got a good mix. You got a young, fast kid, and you got one guy that's arguably the MVP of the league. Because after that performance, I'm like, yo, you might want to mail that to Denver. I'm just saying. After that performance, go ahead and UPS that to Denver somewhere. I'm not saying, I'm just saying. But you got those two pieces. In my book, you go with Embiid and Maxey and build around them. So it is what it is. Let me see. But that was hot garbage, man. That was hot. I was disappointed. You know how when you was little, and everybody can relate to this. When you was little and you did something stupid. You did something stupid. You got in trouble. You broke something in the house. Got in trouble in school. Whatever the situation was. And you know, your mom or your dad gonna get with you, or grandmom or whoever you was raised by. You know it's coming, right? And you think you're gonna get punished, you don't get that whooping or whatever's coming your way. And your parents look at you and just shake their head and say, I'm just so disappointed. That was worse than the spanking. When they look at you and shake their head and it's like, you just disappointed me. That made you feel horrible. That's what I feel like with the Sixers, with that loss. Just disappointed. All that potential, all of that bravado. And you know what? I said this. During the year, I was like, the Sixers, I would always kind of throw it out there. The Sixers are looking good, but I'm not paying no mind until they get to the playoffs. Because the playoffs is the only thing that matters. The playoffs is the only thing that matters. And we get here and we do the exact same thing. The exact same thing. They got rid of Doc with the quickness. And again, I understand. That's the nature of the beast. It all starts from the top. Maybe they didn't go high enough. Maybe Daryl Morey should have been following them right out the door, but that remains to be seen. But I understand Doc getting out of here. Doc could probably get another job if he wanted it. Truth be told. So, like I said, his chess moves on the court, a lot of people didn't like. But you know what? They said they didn't like him when he won the championship. He got one in the bag. So you can't really argue too much. And people can say, well, yeah, he had the players. That's the whole point. You got to have the players. Those players got to hit those shots. If they're not hitting the shots, they got to find another way to put points on the board. You got to have the players. The players got to have that mindset. You can't really teach tough. You either are or you aren't. I've told this story before. When I was coaching for the GT Stallions, I had the biggest, fastest, strongest kid on the team. But I could not take that kid and say, I need you to get to the quarterback and knock his head off. I couldn't tell that kid that because he was a sweet kid. Not in his personality. He didn't have it in him. It just wasn't him. I had another kid that was one of the smallest kids on the team. I coached the 105. I bet you this boy was barely 85. but he was my starting linebacker, and he was a pit bull, always getting into fights. And I would tell him, Seth, I need you to go and not get to the quarterback and make a play. And he would do it. So it's not about how big you are. It's about what you got on the inside. And maybe Joel Embiid don't have that killer instinct on the inside. Everybody's so quick to say what Jordan and Kobe and people like that have. Everybody ain't got that. Everybody does not have that instinctual killer drive to just go at you and just humiliate you. Some people get it with conceit. You get somebody that's, all pro or all this or, all that, and then they think can't nobody touch them. In this day and age, in this, era of football and basketball and stuff like that, if you are that dude where you're on the elite level in your sport, it's turned into the point where can't nobody touch you. Everybody's flopping. Everybody wants to foul. Hey, twin. My twin sister is in the building. Everybody, they flopping with the fouls and, everybody throwing their hands up at the refs and all of that kind of nonsense. It's like, man, let's go ahead on and play. Because back in the day, when you look at the Hall of Famers, the classics the people that you look at now as the old school classic guys, Charles Barkley, Magic, Kareem, Olajuwon, Ewing, Larry Bird, Reggie Miller. You look at guys like even Shaq. Shaq, they created a whole game plan to keep him on the free throw line because they knew he couldn't shoot free throws. You had to bang around with Hack-a-Shaq. Back in them days, even with somebody as big as Shaq was, folks were still fighting. They was throwing blows. Look it up on YouTube. You can find that game where Shaq was throwing some haymakers. Because that's how physical it was. Now, everybody, you get a little elbow, they flying in the third row. Knocking popcorn and drinks everywhere. So, it's a little bit different now, man. It's a little bit different now. So, Sixers really didn't need Harden and Embiid maximum. Yeah. I mean, that's easy to, hindsight is 2020. So that is what it is. But wasn't nobody saying that when Harden was dropping 40 and all of that kind of stuff. But at the end of the day, for the money he was getting paid, Harden was way too inconsistent. Way too inconsistent. And the way I look at it now is this is a year that we really could have put Maxey in the forefront and really developed him. But he had to kind of play it back behind Harden because Harden is the elite name. He was the elite name, not anymore. And we were, I would honestly say he came in this year and had, a little bit more than half a tank. He would drop some dimes on them and drop some gems, and then other ones, he would just disappear. But for the most part, his production was needed, but he was vastly inconsistent. I'm with you, Tom. So, I think they might move on from Tobias Harris, but listen, for as up and down as he is too, at least he showed up in Game 7. For all the scrutiny that Tobias Harris has taken, at least he showed up. He ain't got a trophy. He is not listed as one of the elite level players in the league. But you know what? He showed up. And the MVP and the other beard guy that's considered an elite level player didn't. That's a problem. That's a problem. So it is going to be very incumbent upon Daryl Morey to recognize what he has and what he doesn't have and be able to get rid of the thing that's not working, even though that's his boy. That's going to be the key. You guys have heard me talk about like guys like Jimmy Johnson, Parcells, those coaches, Belichick, those coaches that don't mind getting rid of you if you're not getting the job done. It's nothing personal, but I got to get somebody in here a little bit better. So is Daryl Morey going to be that guy that even though Harden is his boy, you cannot give that boy another contract? You know, he's going to opt out of his $35.9 million or whatever it is because he understands that he's on his last leg. But he better not get the money that he's looking for. Because if anybody gives him that money, they're foolish. He's not going to be a draw anymore. I'm not going to a game to see James Harden. Rob Povia, what's good, fam? I'm not going to a Sixers game because James Harden is playing. You know what I'm saying? Maxey, yes. Embiid, yes. Even as bad as Embiid was, Embiid is still an MVP. You can argue with it till the cows come home. Rightfully so. But he's got the trophy. Happened many times in the past. Guys got the trophy. Some people didn't think they deserved it. And ain't nothing changing. It's going to be the same way next year. Matter of fact, Jokic might get it again next year the way he's going. Because he seems to understand what needs to be done. He understands the assignment. So the bad thing about the Sixers now, especially Embiid, because now, even though me personally, and I'm speaking strictly as somebody that played at the highest level, I do not believe that the only thing he was worried about was the MVP trophy. I do not believe that. However, the optics of it, that's what everybody's going to say. They already started it. That's what everybody's going to say. I already knew it when he came out there and he got that trophy, especially, mind you, under the context of everything that happened last year. He was bitching and moaning about it last year. But when he finally got the trophy, and I think he earned it. He earned it. But when he finally got that trophy, and it was big emotional moment and had his son out there and all of that kind of stuff, you cannot let yourself get on that type of an emotional high right before the playoffs because you always got to crash. It's going to happen. You see the same things in football. You get a wild card or a low seed that comes in and takes out the high-ranking team in the division. And they think they won the Super Bowl. And then the next week they come out and get trounced. Because it's very, very difficult to recover from an emotional high like that. I want to see Joel Embiid get down on the blocks and dunk on everything that is moving just to get that attitude. Show me that you can do it. You will always have an opportunity to run back out to the perimeter and hit your three or hit your 20-footer or hit your fadeaway. You will always have an opportunity to do that. Do that after you done got 15 points and 6 rebounds. We had the 2 best players on our team both got outscored by 1 player. Jason Tatum outscored the whole team in the fourth quarter, 15-13. With the MVP, that is the bane of having the MVP on your chest. The expectations are great when you got that MVP on your chest. You earned it, but can you keep it? Because regular season award don't mean jack in the playoffs. Trophies don't win playoff games. Players do. So, ugh. Yeah, we got to get Maxey back. We got to get Maxey back, and we got to get Embiid back. Everybody else can go. I actually kind of hope they keep Tobias Harris. If they get rid of him, okay. I kind of hope they keep him because I see something in there. And in my opinion, The right coach can get it out of him. The right coach can get it out of him. Harden got to be up out of there though. Harden got to be up out of there. So, Tom, I'm with you, bro. Everybody done with Harden. And now he giving Doc Rivers the side eye and all of that kind of stuff, and it is what it is. If he manages to stick around and we get a new coach, I would expect the same type of play. I'm expecting it under a better coach for Embiid to get better. Just to on the X's and O's standpoint of it, because he can be better if the game plan is right. Harden is what he is. I expect Harden to go down. Harden needs to be a facilitator. He needs to stop damn dribbling so much. Him and Embiid. What the hell was Embiid going on? What was going on with him? Every time he got the ball remotely close to the basket, he want to act like he get handles like, Stephon Marbury or something like that. Like, all of a sudden, all this dribbling came into play, and he had like 3-4 turnovers. I'm like, dude, what are you doing? Get all the way on the block, man. And how you gonna let you the MVP and you gonna let Al Horford flex on you, bro? Come on. You can't do that. You let Al Horford flex on you? He's D'ing you up? Nah. Man, listen. I hate to agree with you, but I think you're right. I hope we are wrong in this regard, man. Because I do not want that dude at all. At all. That's who I want right there. Mike. That's the process, brother. That's the process. But Mark Jackson would be my first choice as a coach. That's if you want to throw some money to somebody, throw it to Mark Jackson. That's somebody that can come in with a little bit of toughness, old school, but new school, can make some things happen. I saw an interesting thing about him, and it was I don't know if you guys have seen this. I believe it's Isaiah Thomas is talking to Steven Jackson on this podcast. And Isaiah said people don't give Mark Jackson enough credit for what he did in changing the game in the NBA. Because what he was going on to say that Mark Jackson was the one that let it be okay for Steph Curry to shoot from 35 and 40 feet. He worked up plays so he could shoot from that range. And once Steph started hitting it, everybody started hitting it from deep like that. Nobody did it before Steph Curry did it. I don't think anybody could do it. But Mark Jackson put it in the game plan. So I thought it was interesting that Isaiah said that. Isaiah Thomas said that. Said he don't get enough credit for changing the game. And sure enough, everybody in their mama got a 3-point sniper that's trying to shoot from 50 feet out. But Mark Jackson is a tough dude. I wish they would have kept him at Golden State. But, it is what it is. But I would love to see him with the Sixers. I would love to see it. Number 2, my guy from Phoenix. Where did we go? Monty Williams. Just got out of Phoenix. Another guy. Got to the finals. But another guy I think would be a good coach here. Got a high basketball IQ. The reason why I would think Mark Jackson would be my first choice is because we don't need another players coach. We need a good coach. Now, granted, I'm not quite sure what type of personality Monty Williams has. I don't know if he's like the players type coach or he's like the CEO type coach. all coaches have a little bit of both in them, but you want that. You want a little bit more of that CEO. So Monty Williams will be my number 2 coach. But that's I agree with you. That's why I don't want one. Because Doc is the ultimate player's coach. It ain't too many people got anything bad to say about Doc Rivers. He's the ultimate player's coach. We need somebody that can get in your ass a little bit. That's why I like Sirianni. Sirianni has enough personality where the players will follow him and he's on your side, but he will also get in your grill. That's why Sirianni is so good so far. So we need a little bit of both, but you need a little bit more of that CEO rather than that buddy dude. And if they get D'Antoni, that's what we're going to end up getting. He's going to end up placating the Harden, and we might not get any better. Nick Nurse is my number 3. Nick Nurse took the Toronto Raptors to the finals and won a championship with the Toronto Raptors after having a team in Toronto for 6 years. That's extra credit right there. That's extra credit. Now, I've heard some people say they don't know if he would be the right person in Philly because he is not, Philly don't play. So the question is he going to be able to deal with that? I don't know, but I'd be willing to give him the chance. Bruh, him bringing the championship to Toronto, in my opinion, is like LeBron bringing a championship to Cleveland. That's how big that was. So Nick Nurse is my number 3. And, of course, my number 4 is Sam Cassell. Sam Cassell's been in big games, played in big games, won championships. He's been around the league long enough. He's got the respect of players. He's got the respect of other coaches. And he's been in Philadelphia, so he knows the lay of the land. So Sam Cassell is the easy number 4 choice. And my wild card number 5 would be anybody not named D'Antoni. Easy pick for me. So we'll see what they do. But I tell you what, Morey sounded like he was a 9th grader reading a book report the other day in that press conference. That was funny. But check it out. I'm going to take a break real quick because we got a sponsor and we're going to pump them up. So tell you what, give me about 45 seconds, but don't move. Check this out.
Hey, Birds fans, the NFL schedule has arrived and Philly Sports Trips has all the details now. Visit the site phillysportstrips.com. This is sure to be an epic season. Be sure to go there now to make sure that you don't get shut out. Join us in Tampa, LA, Seattle, or when we get revenge in Kansas City. Don't want to fly? No problem. Gather up your crew and hop aboard one of our signature boisterous bus trips to DC or New York. Sign up now and make sure to mention A2D. Don't miss out on the best Philly fan experience anywhere. Philly Sports Trip customers always stay at the best hotels and meet NFL legends. Book today.
All right, now you can't see me. I don't know what the heck happened. Hold on. You can't see nothing. Hold on. I don't know. I got all blurry. There we go. That's a little better. Yep. Get them sport trips. Hey, sports trips, you already know. Are we in San Francisco or is San Francisco come to us? Because San Francisco is like the place now. Of course, Dallas is going to be busy. So sports trips is going to be busy. The Dallas game, but I think San Francisco comes to us. So, but check them out if you're going to take some away trips with the Eagles or anybody else. Sports Trips, good sponsor with us, and we appreciate that. Yeah, 49ers come to us. So, what happened with I don't know what the hell happened with the 49ers. Where all this whining came from, I don't understand it. I never knew they were like this. I don't remember them being like this. I remember when Brandon Ayuk had to say what he had to say after we beat him, but I'll give you that. Right after 2 days after the game, you got something, you still got that bad taste in your mouth. I'll give you that. To me, that makes sense. That's logical. You still feeling some kind of way because you just lost all your quarterbacks, playoff run is done, all of that kind of stuff. I get that. 2 days, 3 days, a week after that game. Bro, we 4 months out. Why people still whining about this game? I don't get that. I never saw that from San Francisco before. I never knew they whined like that. Very unbecoming. And Debo is like the lead. Like, what? Philly fans ain't even thinking about San Fran right now. What y'all need to worry about is who's going to be your damn quarterback. Solve that problem first. Then worry about us when we come week 11 or whenever that is. Like, come on, man. It was like, I didn't understand that. You know, we got our own issues we got to deal with. Worry about yourself. Worry about yourself. And let me put this PSA out right now. Because I see it starting already. I'm seeing we got camp, mini camp, rookie camp, all these camps, and you getting little hints and, little sample size of the boys and, out there playing ball, throwing the ball around. And the other day, I'm going through social media, and I'm seeing all of this stuff. Jalen Hurts throwing dimes to the Eagles. And I'm like, what happened? Dropping bombs. Yo, Chucks, my dude. So I'm seeing all of this stuff. Jalen Hurts dropping bombs, dropping dimes, throwing bombs, putting it in the bread basket. I'm seeing all of this kind of stuff. And I look at the video clips and I'm like, yo, he just warming up. He just throwing some regular old balls to, I think one was A.J. Brown. Maybe it was a running back out of the backfield or something like that. Nothing crazy. Just a regular old swing pattern, a regular old comeback and an out. Nothing crazy. And I'm like, listen, pump your brakes. Pump your brakes on the Jalen Hurts love until we get into camp, until everybody's at camp. And it's not a rookie camp. It's not an OTA. It's camp. Like, relax. Yo, Chuck, dude, I saw that. And then I looked at the video clips that everybody was putting up, and I'm like, what did he do? He just looked like he was just warming up his arm. Oh, he dropping dimes. And I'm like, Lord have mercy. I was like, let the brother warm up first. It's not that serious. Not yet, anyways. It's going to be fun for Philadelphia this year because there's going to be a lot of smack talking to come. We are going to be the focus of the NFL and the NFC. So it can go one of two ways. Thomas, that's what I said, Tom. It can go one of two ways. If we get out to a good start, it's going to be the same thing like it was last year. Philadelphia's a team to beat, blah, blah, blah. We get all the players and everything is gelling and Sean Desai's got them going, all of that kind of stuff. But if we lose, it's going to be, I knew the Eagles, they couldn't keep it up this year and Jalen Hurts got issues and you're going to hear all this stuff about his throwing and reading defenses, and that just comes with the territory. So it can go one of two ways because, everybody loves us, but everybody wants to hate us too. So I'm excited because I don't want to hear nothing. I don't want to hear jack from anybody talking about a weak schedule. I don't want to hear nothing talking about a weak schedule because there ain't no other team in the league that wants to trade with us as far as schedules come, because we got a murderer's row. We got a tough schedule. So people think we got by last year Well, you're going to learn today. Because when we start thumping folks, what's the excuse now? They probably still going to try to blame it on the quarterback sneak. I'm not calling it that other phrase they gave it because they're just trying to make us look weak. I ain't going for that. The Hurts quarterback sneak. Can't stop it. You know it's coming. You still can't stop it. Still can't stop it. So I'm looking forward to next year. Our team is going to be better. I am fully convinced that Howie Roseman has this team reloaded. Everybody can't say that. It's one thing when you get some more players and you can put them in place, but when you reload, some of y'all got guns. Y'all know what happens when you reload. You put the ammunition in the chamber and you ready to cock that trigger and pull it and do some damage. We are reloaded. I got two people that I'm watching this year, and I'm saying that. I'm watching everybody, obviously. But the two guys I'm looking at this year, Nakobe Dean, and I want to see what this kid we got from the XFL, Charleston Rambo. I want to see what he's going to do. Because that kid can track a ball pretty well. I watch him in the XFL. I don't know about y'all, but I enjoyed the XFL. It's personal to me as somebody that played in the World League and won a championship when I was with the Scottish Claymores and all that kind of stuff. That means something to me because at the end of the day, all them dudes are doing the same thing I did. You just want an opportunity to play. When I went to Canada, it was the same thing. You just want an opportunity to play ball. So I'm glad to see all of these guys getting opportunities on teams. Somebody's going to stick. Somebody's going to stick. And that is going to give validity to the league. Because if you got players out there that know if they can get to the highest level, taking this path, you've given validity to the league. USFL is the same way. The biggest endorsement for the USFL last year was the kid Turpin in Dallas, Devontae Turpin. That kick returner, he set the world on fire. Every time you kick the ball deep to him, it was a problem. We know that because he almost beat us if he didn't lose his feet. So I love to see with these other leagues giving these guys an opportunity. So I'm ready for next year because there's going to be a lot of smack talking and no excuses. No excuses. We already know the X factor that is the Commanders. What's going to happen with them? I'm interested to see. I'm wishing for the best for Eric Bieniemy because I want him to be a head coach. Things are. I'm guessing things are going to go better for them, and maybe he'll finally get that head coaching gig because you ain't really any more lateral moves to make for him. So Giants, I just want to beat them down again. I want to see what Atlanta's going to do with Bijan. Is he going to be as good as he can be with no help? We'll see. We'll see. I'll definitely be watching Indianapolis. I'm seeing all the reports about Anthony Richardson. It's not as raw as everybody says. So people are looking for stories, and don't, let me put this out in the ethos now. Don't be surprised. Don't be surprised if Hendon Hooker ends up the starter for the Lions by the end of the year. That is not out of the realm of possibility. Not because Goff is going to play bad. If Goff gets nicked up, don't be surprised if you see Hooker in the game and not leave the field. So it's going to be, Richardson, Will Levis. Did I miss? Oh, there we go. Will Levis is another one. I want to see him. I want to see Will Levis get. I want to see if he's all about the hype that they're trying to hype him up as. That's what I want to see. Richardson's going to be good. Shane Steichen going to have that boy ready. Jalen Hurts is going to be fine. He's going to be better because he's got another year of throwing the ball under his belt with much success. I want Jalen Hurts to evolve into a much better passer. And because we got this crowded running back room that we have now, are they going to utilize it? That's my big question. Are they going to utilize it? Are they going to take him out of harm's way? Because if they don't, we're not going to get rid of the PTO altogether. Just not going to do it. It's part of our offense. It's part of the Eagles' DNA right now. You run it till they stop it. And NFL teams have not figured out a way to stop it yet. However, you do put your quarterback in harm's way when he runs the ball that much. So you got to be able to curtail that and figure out a different way to do it. So that's going to be the riddle that Brian Johnson has to solve this year. We got to still be effective with the RPO, but you got to figure out how to get Jalen out of harm's way. And I keep saying this, and I will keep repeating it. They gotta find a way to get our screen game back into play. They have to do that. They have to do that. We cannot have all of these plays like we had last year with. And now watch, you're gonna see this in Indianapolis. Watch. Richardson's gonna get confused, and he's gonna call that audible, and they're gonna run that trips left, trips right, wide receiver screen. Because it looked like that's what the Eagles would do if they didn't know what to call. Trips left, trips right, and you throw the screen to that side. And I hated that play because everybody knew it was coming, and we didn't really get much from it. And I just didn't like it. It made me feel like we don't know what to call. I'm positive there was much more to that, but again, I'm dealing with the optics of it. Yeah, we played the Commanders twice, and then we got the Giants twice in 4 weeks? Twice in 3 weeks. Again. Solving the race problem. Bro, this turned into an Eagles video, bro. We talked about the Sixers for 45 minutes. Where you been? You know I'm gonna get some birds. I'm an ex-Eagle, man. You know I'm gonna come with the birds. Don't feel bad. That's the key with Desai. This, to me, this is a slippery slope. Because everybody, we think in terms of feast or famine, right? Everybody and their mother wanted more blitzing from Gannon last year. But at the end of the day, it just ended up like you nitpicking. All them sacks we got, you nitpicking. You weren't wrong because there were plenty of opportunities that we could have used some blitzes. But you can't. You can't. It was hard to get upset about that, especially when you can pick and choose in every game what you wish you would have done differently. So even though we had 78 sacks on the season and have the number one defense, we should have blitzed more. Every team's going to say that, man. Every team. So we did what we had to do. Gannon did what he had to do. And I ain't got no ill will on Gannon, although he left in a huff. And he knows there were some different things that he could have done differently. As good as they were, there were some things that he could have done differently. And we could have been a little bit more effective. especially in that Super Bowl. So I'm going to let that go. I got enough faith in our coaching staff to be able to distinguish yourselves from what we had last year. You're not going to retool everything. You don't have to. Don't reinvent the wheel, but you can tweak it. You can tweak it. You can throw a couple of blitzes in there. You can throw some screens on there on offense. Frank, I don't think so. I don't think it's going to be weird. It's going to be the same stuff it has been. Every time the Sixers are going to make a move now, because, I mean, now with the offseason, the Sixers are on the same par as the Eagles as far as eyes being on them. So it all comes down to what they're going to do with this coach. So that parallel is going to exist. The Eagles are just a little ahead of the Sixers now. So while we are disappointed in what we saw in Game 7 and the way the playoffs ended for us, it's not going to be until next year in the playoffs before the stuff really hits the fan. So we got to wait all year, not to mention all of the rumors you're going to come across during the offseason. That's coming. Because you're going to have some people interested in Harden. And who knows? I'm saying all this stuff about I don't want D'Antoni because I don't want us to be the Philadelphia Rockets. We got enough stuff being the Philadelphia Bulldogs right about now. However, that's not what happens if we do hire D'Antoni and D'Antoni turns out to be pretty good. Then what? Nobody wins the championship until they win the championship. So they could have been saying the same thing about Doc before he won the championship. Same thing with, what was I talking about? Nick Nurse, before he won the championship. They're going to say what they say until you win that chip. So there's a very good possibility that he could get us to the promised land. I don't think it'll happen, but stranger things have happened. Stranger things have happened. We had a quarterback that almost went undefeated. Stranger things have happened. Doesn't matter what sport you play. Eagles, Sixers, Phillies, even the Flyers. I'll be paying attention to the Flyers because I like Keith Jones. On the strength of listening to him for 20 years on Angelo's show. But I'll watch him to see what happened. It's so much stuff happening, and you want to see how it pans out. That's what it comes down to. I want to see how it pans out. I want to see what Sean Desai is going to do that's going to make him different than Gannon was. Because rest assured, as much as we don't like Gannon for what he did and how he left and the game plan he called in the Super Bowl, all of that. Valid criticisms, all of it. But rest assured, Sean Desai got some big shoes to fill. So if that defense is not as hellacious and productive as it was last year, everybody gonna be looking at him with the arched eyebrow. Like, what are you doing? We got all these Georgia boys, Jalen Carter, and we still got Hassan and all of that. Now it's on his shoulders. Same thing with Brian Johnson. Same thing with Daryl Morey. Go from the field to the court. It don't matter. Because think about it like this. If we in the same situation next year with the Sixers, Daryl Morey is fired. He's gone. You already know. You already know. Trade Embiid for, no, I don't want a rookie. Listen, take some time before you really want to come after Embiid. You got to get that bad taste in your mouth. out your mouth. Get you some ice cream or something. Get you, if my wife is watching, Kathy, I love you, but if you watching, you need some sorbet to cleanse your palate. So you can get that bad taste out of your mouth. Then you take a step back and you say, going forward, what do we got to work with? We already know Embiid is good. Not good. Embiid is elite. He's in that elite class. Maxi's not prime yet, but he's getting there. I've seen enough sparks out of him to like what I see, and I want to see him get to the next level. We need a coach that can take him there. We need a coach that can make Embiid, we know he's elite. Now we have to make him dangerous. We got to make it to the point where people fear playing Embiid. There's not too many bigs that are like that. Giannis maybe, and Giannis and them get bounced. So there's always a kryptonite to it. That's where you got to have a coach that can move those chess pieces the right way. You got to have a coach that can move those chess pieces the right way. Even with Sirianni last year, how many times, prime example was the damn Chicago game. And I was pissed about that game because Jalen Hurts shouldn't have gotten hurt that game. There was no way he should have ran the ball. But the people that's moving the chess pieces on the board, they had the wrong game plan. And it cost us. So, regardless, again, whoever the Sixers decide to keep, let go, as long as they got them two pieces, as long as they got Embiid and Maxey. I don't know what they're going to do with Tobias. What's Tobias's contract? I'm not familiar with that. What is his contract? I know he got like $35 million. I know everybody said he was overpaid and all that kind of stuff. I get all of that. Water under the bridge. Can't do nothing about it. What does he have left on his contract? And realistically, what other teams would be willing to trade for him? Okay, so he's going into the last year of his contract. Is he going to play his way out of it? Point of note, if he is going into his last year, that means he's in a contract year. Just like football. If you go into your last year, that means you got to ball out because you don't want to start playing. You don't want to stop playing. He got one more year left. So 2023 into 2024 is the last year of his contract. So he's got to ball out. So again, I don't necessarily mind that. If they move him, they move him. But if they keep him, he's in a situation, he's going to start. He's got to ball out. He's got to have a chip on his shoulder because he wants to keep playing and he wants another contract. So that bodes well for the team. You got to come correct because now it's about your paper. It's about that money. You still want to get another bag, just like Harden is doing. He wants to get another bag. He don't deserve it. He don't deserve it. I don't know. Like I said, I'm not going to argue with you if he stays or if he goes. But I will say this. I don't care if it's Harden. I don't care if it's Embiid. I don't care if it's Tobias Harris. I don't care who it is. If you get rid of them, you better have somebody that can replace them or make it that much better. Whew. Yeah, that's whoo-wee. Good Lord, son. Man, that's a whole lot of hamburgers, bro. And you only working a couple days a week. God, yeah, PJ Tucker. PJ Tucker is yeah. I understand why they got PJ Tucker. They got PJ Tucker because his attitude was like Jimmy Buckets. However, his game is not like Jimmy Buckets. He just wasn't that much of a player. His tank is almost empty too. So good night, Mom. So it'll be interesting to see what they do. Like I said, Tobias, I'll take him or leave him. Doesn't matter. Embiid and Maxey. and Melton. If you want to do Melton, Maxey, and Embiid, let that be your three that you build around. So be it. So be it. So I don't think the Sixers are. I don't think they are in as bad a shape as people portray it. Again, it's still fresh. Bad taste is still in the mouth. You got to let it. You got to let it breathe for a minute and step back into it in another 2 weeks. It'll be some more information coming out, some more stuff about who we signing. The rumors, I saw something on the New York Post about Embiid. You know, the Knicks are always looking their chops for somebody. We're going to put Mac McClung in there so he can dunk on everybody. I wouldn't mind seeing that. I go to the arena to see him dunk a couple times. I would go see that rather than see James Harden turn the ball over. Facts. That don't bother me one bit. So we still, as far as the Sixers go, we still got some pieces on the board. We still got some good pieces on the board. We got to boost up the bench. Our bench first half of the year was god awful, but we got better. But we got to get some good players in here to see what we can do. So, a lot of stuff to come, man. A lot of stuff to come. Take a step back, get that sorbet, and cleanse your palate a little bit, and then come back ready to go. James Harden is who he is by now. Absolutely. Absolutely. So if anybody wants to pay him another $40 million for the next 4 years, number one, you'd be stupid. Number two, you get what you get, turnovers and all. You don't get one in every 16, 17 games. You might get a 40-pointer or a 30-pointer. But in my opinion, he got a quarter tank left, and he's very inconsistent. Let's move on and get going. I like McClung. I want to see him do things. I want to see him do things. Just like they're doing with Harris out in L.A. Got to give him a shot. You never know what you got until you know what you got. And the only way you know what you got is put him on the court. Happens all the time. NBA ain't no different. Same thing with the NBA like the NFL. There are plenty of people that are playing that shouldn't be. There are plenty of people that should be that aren't. It's nature of the beast. So hopefully, Daryl Morey can make some good moves. Daryl Morey can make some good moves. And the team is not as hopeless as people like Eskin and people like that want to say it is. I just don't believe that. But we'll see. But I'm going to get out of here, man. Good group tonight, man. I appreciate y'all live in the chat. Chat was on fire tonight. Do me a favor. Check me out on my YouTube channel, Pro Fan Talk. I'm going to be dishing with you every day. And as usual, make sure you come back next Thursday right here on the mothership, A2D Radio. Bring a friend. You know what I'm saying? All I see is A. I need you to bring B and C. Bring some friends. Let's keep this thing growing. I appreciate y'all. And I will see y'all next week. Be safe. Have a good weekend. Peace.